cedar trees there. You know, these
Really?
put his arms around these cypress trees and just stand there, hugging these trees. That's an authentic man. He's not a crank. That's and you ever seen anybody like Van Gogh paint? You know, the cypress tree. He had a personal relationship with those trees. He had a personal relationship with the night sky. That's why he's Van Gogh. Right? Rembrandt, Vermeer. My God, look at the light, the relationship that Vermeer, the artist, had with light. Light is human to him. Right? Light is a thing. It's a teacher. It's a mentor. It's a god. Did you know that in the pagan times, in the Celtic times, trees were gods? Please understand this. Trees were gods. The sacred grove was considered so sacred that a tree was considered an oracle, literally an angelic form. Yeah, and some trees more than others, of course. But the miracle of all of this stuff that's happening around is just considered the inanimate. So people go, what is magic, Michael? You know, magic is that thing that is already happening as soon as you open your eyes in the morning. It's not something you attain or you find or you join some secret society in order to be, you know, attaining at the end of some sort of initiation ceremony. It's the initiation of opening your eyes in the morning. As soon as you open your eyes in the morning, before the whole ego, you know, machinery begins, right, of all this other stuff, the actual act of being in the world is magic. Sorcery is what tries to hide you from that. Now, Heidegger brought this out because he pointed out that the word Danken in German, which means thank you, and the word for thinking, denken, right, is the same word.
That's right.
They're very similar. They're from the same root. So in other words, he's saying that thinking should be an act of gratitude. Is an act of gratitude. Not should be. The man's thought is a process, a mantra of thank you to the universe. Thank you for existence. He even speaks very clearly about the opening of the physical eye in the morning. And when the light hits the pupil of the eye, he calls that a spiritual experience. That the fact that you've awoken to the miracle of the day. You know, we say good morning, or I think in Swedish is god morgon. So
right.
god morgon. You're not saying that to some punter in the street. That was never a statement originally. It was meant for, you know, some other goon. God morgon was good morning to the morning. To, in other words, to this thing that is now considered inanimate. You walk around in a thing called a day. You are embraced by a thing, you know, called a day. Henry Bergson talked about that time embraces you like a brother. He called it the élan vital. With the word, look how beautiful, the word vital means vital, life. He called time that. That time is a thing, is an entity that you can talk to, that you can relate with. But you ignore it all of your life.
Something you fight instead.
Well, of course, now it's adversity again. This is the sorcery has come in. You have no dialogue with that. So this is where the fragmentation, aloneness, alienation is, because you are self-alienated, because you put your entire psychic focus into other equally depressed, equally lost, equally fragmented, equally existentially, you see, lost individuals. So it's a chorus of the same kinds of people, and you've lost your earth, you've lost your roots. You know, the old, there's an old alchemical statement, you know, which says, come to the center of the earth, and there you shall find the philosopher's stone. Come to the center of the earth. Again, they're pulling you to the earth. They're saying, it's here, the altar of the earth, this immediacy of your life. Thought and thinking are the same word. You know, it begins with, another way to express it is to say that, look, it's not experience. You shouldn't be demanding that experience is always fresh and new. It's the mind of the experiencer that needs to be fresh and new. What we have are these people with a dead mind going, turn me on! More stuff! More stimuli! That was good, but now we want better! More! I'm dead. Animate me! Like a dead horse is being injected with adrenaline every 5 seconds. Then we wonder why the world's in the state that it's in. The mind is what needs to be continually incarnating, refreshed. Not experience. This is what the world has to understand. Or another way to look at it is how we did in the Future of Mankind, looking at the meaning of the etymology of the word enlightenment. Can we stop thinking of in terms of luminescence, which is this very masculine, solaristic, atomistic way of looking at things, and re-look at it like lightness. Like the feather, the balloon, the fool card. You know, lightness, not accumulating, attaining, acquiring, having. You see? But letting go.
Lightness of the mind, taking things on a lighter note, in a way.
Yin, what they call yin. One of the secondary meanings of the word yin. Letting go, divestiture, allowing, non-attaching, you see. emptying out so you can always be full.
Non-controlling also in a way.
Yes, very much. You know, you're not in control anyway. That's just another one of these illusions.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Another way to look at it is instead of trying to embrace, allow yourself to be embraced. So there's two. You know, one's an acquisitive. I want the truth. I want Jesus. I want God. I want it. I have it. But we're not hearing ourselves. We're not hearing ourselves. We're not listening to the nonsense of that. You think that your encompassment is ever going to, you know, put the real in your pocket? Can you put the mountain in your pocket? Can you harness the power of the tiger or the lamb or the stag? You can't own that, you see. You can't own the polar bears. You can't own the oceans of the world. But you can dive into it. You can let it embrace you. So man needs to change. This is what this Nuthan Hadith of Crowley was. This is what this prolific and devouring. Blake is saying you can devour or you can be prolific. Right? There's two ways. Man has a choice. I like to always put it that I always describe it in my work as throwing away the oars.
Yeah.
And it's a concept people don't like. I have a lot of resistance against this. But I've always put it that there's the river. And on this great river, and I mean the river of time. This is the Elan Vital. It's not, but you can pictorialize it as a physical river. I'm looking at this is the river that carries the cosmos along. This is the great river that they said the Maya spoke of. You know, that is the river of creation that pulls all the planets, all the stars, all the systems along with it. It's the river of time, the river of reality. That's a silent river that we don't hear anymore because of our own clatter. Now, on that river is our life. We're born, you see, not into the world. Because when you say somebody's born into the world, you're implying that they're separate from it. You're born from the womb of the world. You're born from the womb of the universe. You're absolutely part of the universe.
And you're made from even the atoms itself. You know, you borrow them on the short time you were here, and then you return them, to the source.
And your dementia thinks of that universe, that womb, as a hierarchy when it's really a holarchy. But you're born into this movement, and you deafen yourself to the movement because on the river is the boat. And the boat is consciousness. And the boat is, as we said, a creation out of the womb of the world. But on the boat is oars. And the oars is the ego. And the oars is the ego of you thinking you are directing your life. That's sorcery. The magic is to let go of the oars and to let the boat go on the river wherever the river wants to take it. And that's a completely different action. One is Taoist, the other is this other monstrous dementia we've got. Oh, no, I can't trust the river. Give me the oars, quick. Row. And then you row yourself into a crevasse. You row yourself into a whirlpool. You see, you're banging up against other people's boats, losing direction. And some idiots even want to go out against the tide.
Oh, yeah.
The super ego men, right?
Yeah.
Which you can name a few of those. But, so the gods look down and they laugh. They put the oars there to see where we're at. The Donald Duck moron who's in the boat there, paddling away, is the one who's absolutely caught in his own ego, thinking, if I don't paddle, I'm not getting nowhere.
Yeah.
It's all about effort. It's all about me. There's my picture of Anthony Robbins, and I've learned how to do it. Give me the oars and get out of my way.
Yeah.
And although the universe rains down horrors of pain and suffering onto that kind of person's life, they'll never learn. They just don't learn. Because they get to like the sound of their oars and the adrenaline of feeling they're directing their own life. But the real art of life, which is the magic of life, which is the enlightenment, is to let go of the oars. And then slowly acculturate yourself to the sound of the river. Because that river, by the way, for all your paddling and for all your rowing and for all your histrionics, is taking you precisely where it wants you to go. So you can spend your whole life rowing and it ain't going to matter at all because the river is still master. In fact, I would believe that all your rowing is just basically sending you up shit creek. It's not only a futile waste of time that you'd almost want to cry. You almost want to laugh if it wasn't so sad, which most people are doing. It really is a predicament. But in the end, it's not even taking you to where you need to go anyway, because the river is ultimately going to decide. But you could exhaust. The only time that most people are now, this is what I have a problem, you see, with a lot of the New Age movement and where we're heading in the world now, is that certain people are now waking up to the sound of the river, not out of choice, but because they've literally exhausted their energy.
Burned out.
They're burned out.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm kind of glad that you're hearing the sound of the river because you're burned out, but it's still not the most optimum way. It would have been so much better had you had the guts and the power and the faith in the river to throw away the oars in the beginning. But see, no. Man of the inauthentic life, the man of the metropolis, doesn't want to hear anything about that.
Yeah.
He's not interested in hearing, but he's going, what are you talking about? We know what you're all about. You know, I'm not meant to go like that. I'm meant to command, you know, have my life. My life is me. This false, remember I told you the false selling, they're selling us the false idea of individualism, just as they sell us a false understanding of freedom. Well, don't you understand when America's screaming and yelling about, we're the country of individual. Individualism is what it's all about. That's the false. That's the circus concoction, the papier-mâché version of the real freedom, the real individuality. There's nothing, even a shred of it. You know, they didn't. Ayn Rand was the only one that I can think of who talked in true terms in America of what that individualism is. So, a better relationship with the inanimate and the dropping of that word completely. You know, back to a pantheistic pantheism where everything is living. Bringing meaning from within yourself. Throwing away the oars. And throwing away the oars, by the way, has been known for centuries. In India, they call it void magic. The Druids and the ancient shaman knew that there's positive and negative magic, and then there's another kind of magic that they refer to as void magic. Void magic, in which you touch on the void to give you the power that you require. But that requires letting go. Any kind of action of will, you see, and thinking of that you're in control of the universe is opposite. You work with the universe, but first you have to be tutored by that universe. Just like anyone goes to school, you have to first learn the ropes, don't you? So man wants to already be, especially the politician is the extreme example of this delirium, or this dementia, is that long before he's even tutored as how the universe or nature works, he's already going to run the class. He's already going to, you know, it's like a guy jumping into a Formula One racing car and trying to do the, you know, Indianapolis or whatever it is, you know. He's going to end up in the, you know where he's going to end up? He's going to end up in a ball of fire.
That's right.
You know, and take in so many other people with him. You can't get on a stallion, thoroughbred, you know, stallion, and start riding without knowing how to work it. So man is already taking the reins of the universe without instruction. He's killed the instructors. They're all massacred, martyred, and nailed, and dead, and murdered. And now he's taking the reins himself, and then wondering why he's in a ditch. I'm completely happy that he's in a ditch. I want people to end up in the ditch, because you will not break certain cardinal rules of the universe. I want you to be in angst, because I know why that angst is being brought on. And I'm not in any way threatened by it, those darker emotions. You refuse to keep them, you know, listen to this, all these voices. So of course they become dark. Because once upon a time when they were speaking, you didn't listen. So they've become, you see, repressed. Those voices are repressed, and then they take on a different likeness. So this new understanding, you know, compassion. Let's think of the word compassion etymologically as complete passion. Complete passion about your life, bringing it from within yourself. Another way of looking at it has again been explained in The Future of Mankind. Try in every problem that you come across in your life, voice it differently. You know, what's the languaging? Are you saying I've been sold a lie, or are you saying I bought a lie? I'm going to recap that. It's very important to restate this because, again, we need to snap out of the psychology of thinking, oh, somebody is doing bad by me.
Externally.
Externally. What am I permitting to take place? And finally, you know, it comes from Plato, but Plato, Socrates were always asked by the people there in the symposium, tell us about, you know, the spirit. What happens in the spirit world? You know, tell us what it's like to be transcendent being, and you know what lies after death. And he would never address that. He would say, look, my only concern is to get you to the human level. What are you worrying about what the gods are doing? You're at the subhuman level, you know, and my job is merely to get you to the human level. You don't even know what it is to be human yet. Because you think you're already at human level, I'm telling you what to do, you know, on the divine level. That's way, way, way far away. You shouldn't be concerned with that. And it's really true that today the job of any philosopher is to continue to do that process, is to get people to understand what it means to be truly human. Discover your own capacities. You know, all possibilities are only open to the man who's open to all possibilities,
that's right.
who allows himself to be that way. The person who has set no limits for himself. He's unlimited. He cannot ever come to the limit of who he is. And therefore you will find yourself in a form of opposition against all those people who have chosen the other way. You will find yourself as being an outsider. But again, lose that sense of alienation by turning yourself on to those inanimate friends that are just waiting for